In 1927, the premiere of a movie with George Valentin, a silent film actor, entertains the audience on a big screen. As his movie plays, the audience shares varied emotions, from getting shocked to laughing at the humor. Meanwhile, the actors wait behind the screen, observing the audience's reactions. Once the movie is over, Valentin walks onto the stage to receive cheers from the audience. Constance, the lead actress, waits to be called onto the stage by him, but Valentin signals the dog who featured in the movie with him to come on the stage. Constance is indignant at his behavior. He takes his sweet time performing a trick with the dog and then calls his co-actress on stage, much to her displeasure. Al Zimmer, the Kinograph Studios boss, is happy as Valentin's popularity is bringing them the attention they want, even if it is at the cost of the actress storming off in anger. After the premiere, Valentin is getting his pictures clicked. Among the crowd of women is a young woman named Peppy Miller. She is there for an autograph, but when she drops her diary, she bends down to pick it up and accidentally bumps into Valentin. Everybody freezes, but Valentin takes it in good humor and starts laughing. Everybody joins in, and Valentin pulls Peppy in for photographs with him. Peppy enjoys the attention and confidently poses for the cameras. She goes as far as to kiss Valentin on his cheek. The next day, Peppy becomes the mysterious girl everybody is curious to know about. After her picture kissing Valentin features on the front page of Variety newspaper. Doris, Valentin's wife, is upset with him over the controversial picture of him. He first laughs it off, but seeing her furious, he apologizes and even includes his dog in the apology, making him bow his head. Doris isn't so easy to please. She gets up in anger and walks away. On the other hand, Peppy is happy with how things turned out. She goes to the Kinograph Studios to audition as a dancer. She was expecting the people to recognize her after she made the front page news, but was a little disappointed that that didn't happen. Nevertheless, it helped boost her confidence, and her performance got her selected. Soon Valentin arrives at the studio. He knows he has a charming smile, so he always practices it in front of the mirror in his dressing room. Meanwhile, his butler Clifton signs his pictures for the fans. While practicing, he looks at Doris' picture he's kept by the mirror and feels bad about what happened in the morning. But not as bad as picking a gift himself. Instead, he sends Clifton to the jewelry store to pick something up for her. Al Zimmer soon arrives and is upset with Valentin for the little stunt he pulled at the premiere, because of which the movie didn't get a front page mention. But Valentin's personality is such that no one can remain angry with him for very long. He soon makes everybody laugh, including Al Zimmer, by matching the dancing moves of a dancer from behind the scenery prop. The dancer turned out to be Peppy. Valentin is happy to see her, but Al Zimmer loses his cool and asks her to leave. Valentin stops Peppy and, much to Al Zimmer's dismay, asks her to stay as they have a movie to shoot. While shooting the scene, Valentin cannot seem to concentrate and finds losing himself in Peppy's eyes. The chemistry between them is evident. After 5 retakes, Valentin leaves the set for some time to calm his racing heart. Peppy decides to visit him in his dressing room, but he isn't there. She welcomes herself in and looks around before writing her message on the mirror for him to see when he comes back. She turns to leave but sees Valentin's coat hanging and puts up an impromptu act where she pretends to be Valentin and herself engaged in a romantic moment. She wonders if the chemistry she felt before could become a reality. Valentin walks in on her little act. Peppy is scared thinking about how he may act, but his calm demeanor puts her at ease. He calls her close and says that if she wants to become an actress, she must have something that others don't have. With that, he takes a kohl pencil to put a beauty mark above her upper lip. He can't hide the new feelings ignited for her in his heart. They cannot deny the spark they feel in each other's presence, and at that moment, they would have kissed if Clifton wouldn't have walked in with the gift he had purchased for Doris. Peppy quietly walks outside after living a brief moment of her dream. Peppy soon traces her way to more prominent roles. She still supports the beauty mark. Valentin, on the other hand, starts growing distant from Doris. 2 years have passed. Valentin continues to work in silent movies, but the trends are changing. When Al Zimmer takes Valentin to see Constance's movie with dialogues, Valentin laughs and is dismissive of the new trend as opposed to Al Zimmer, who thinks this is the future. In a dream, Valentin sees himself as mute in the world of sound where even a feather falling has sound. But no matter how much Valentin tries, no sound comes from him. He wakes up covered in sweat. Much akin to his dream, he soon finds out that Kinograph Studios have stopped all silent productions to work exclusively on talkies. He immediately goes to meet Al Zimmer, who is in a meeting. Still dismissive of the talkies taking over, Valentin leaves the studio saying he'll make a silent movie on his own. He sees Peppy as one of the new faces of the Kinograph studio. As he walks out of the studio, he crosses paths with Peppy, who recognizes him and calls out to him. They are happy to see each other after a long time, and Peppy is excited at the prospect of doing another movie with him. She gives him her number and insists he calls her. She keeps Valentin in high regard not only because he played a major role in making her career, but also because she still had feelings for him. So she sends him off with the same dance moves she did on the sets and blows him a kiss, bringing a smile to his face. Valentin produces and directs his own silent film, Tears of Love, financing himself. He is also the writer and actor of the film. His movie is bound to release on the same day as Peppy's movie, Beauty Spot. Valentin is worried, but he decides to have faith in his hard work and his fans. His relationship with Doris worsens as she has had enough of Valentin not speaking with her. A day before the release of his movie, he goes out for dinner with Clifton. In the same restaurant, Peppy is being interviewed. Valentin is happy to see her at first, but his smile fades away when Peppy says old actors should make way for new actors and fresh faces. She also talks in favor of the voice of the actors being used as opposed to silent actors' entertainment, which she insinuates is obsolete. Feeling offended, Valentin gets up from his chair and faces Peppy. Once he has her attention, he points towards his chair and says he's made way for her, implying what she said about old actors should give way to the new ones. He soon leaves. On the 25th of October 1929, the date of the release of the movie, the stock market crashes. The only way Valentin would survive in the industry is if his movie is a big hit. Valentin's movie doesn't have a big turnout as he expected. With a handful of people along with Peppy, the theater gives a desolated appearance. Peppy has tears in her eyes as the movie ends. Valentin walks out of the theater disheartened. He is amazed to see Peppy's movie has a long line outside the theater. He finally understands the dynamics have changed. He comes back home and finds his doodled photograph on the floor, and behind it is a note from Doris, who kicks him out of the house. She has given him 2 weeks to collect all his souvenirs and get out of the house. That evening, he is drinking alone when Peppy comes to meet him. She apologized for what she had said yesterday and had many more things to say, but couldn't. She leaves feeling dejected. In the next 2 years, Peppy rises to stardom with her movies being full house shows. Valentin shifts to Clifton's humble abode. He slowly starts selling his belongings to fend for himself. He realizes he hasn't paid Clifton in a year. He can't let that happen, he was never a burden on anybody. So with a heavy heart, he fires Clifton. Clifton thinks he's joking, but Valentin is serious. He gives him his car and asks him to find another job. Clifton doesn't want another job. He waits for Valentin the entire day, but Valentin doesn't come. In the morning, Valentin looks out the window and sees Clifton gone. With no work, Valentin is forced to auction his personal effects, and everything gets sold. Peppy had sent her butler to participate in the auction and buy most of the belongings. Peppy has tears in her eyes when she sees Valentin walking down the street. Seeing the man she has loved ever since her first movie with him, where they dance together, she feels helpless. After losing all his possessions, Valentin is left with nothing. One day he drinks so much that he passes out, and his loyal valet Clifton finds him on a bar's floor. He takes him back to his apartment and puts him in bed. Peppy's new movie is out, and Valentin goes to see the premiere. He enjoys the movie and realizes how the times have changed with more realistic and subtle acting instead of exaggerated moves. He sees the difference when back home, he plays his old movies on the projector and sees a stark contrast. Drunk and depressed, he talks to himself and admits he had been proud and arrogant. If he had accepted the change, he wouldn't have been so miserable. Angry with himself, he destroys his movies and sets them on fire. The film reels quickly catch fire and spread throughout the room. Seeing the fire spreading fast, he frantically looks for something. Meanwhile, his dog runs out and tries to get a policeman's attention. Valentin finds the movie he was looking for and tightly holds it close before passing out because of the smoke. The dog is able to bring the police officer on time, who goes inside and pulls Valentin out to safety. He is then taken to the hospital. The next day, the news of Valentin surviving a fire is in the newspaper. Peppy learns from the newspaper about the accident and immediately goes to the hospital to see him, leaving in the middle of her shoot. She rushes into the hospital, and when she finally sees Valentin, she takes a sigh of relief. She dearly loves him, and even the mere imagination of something happening to him scares her to the point of bringing tears to her eyes. But she doesn't want him to see her like that. She wipes her tears before going in. Valentin has sustained some injuries, but he is out of danger now. He just needs some rest. His dog sleeps beside him. Peppy's eyes fall on the movie reel kept on the table. The doctor tells her that Valentin was clutching onto it when he was bought. She is moved to tears when she sees the movie as their first movie dancing together. She's happy that all these years, he has shared the same feelings as her. She takes him to her house so he can recover. At night, he wakes up coughing. He has finally woken up after the accident. The nurse runs to get Peppy, and when Peppy sees him up, she hugs him tight. But he passes out again, but the nurse says he is fine. Peppy lovingly caresses Valentin. The next day, Peppy and Valentin have breakfast together. She is her usual chatty self, and Valentin cannot help smiling. She gets ready to leave and sees his expressions change. Peppy comes up with an idea and, at the studio, vouches for Valentin's comeback to Al Zimmer. He refuses to take Valentin back as he thinks Valentin is a nobody now. Peppy threatens to quit if he doesn't launch Valentin. She is able to convince Al Zimmer and sends a copy of the screenplay with her new valet, Clifton. At Peppy's house, Valentin is surprised to see Clifton, and he says he works for Peppy now. He then hands Valentin the copy and says Peppy is once again looking after him. but Valentin's pride is too big to accept help. He puts away the script. Before leaving, Clifton reminds him to beware of his pride. Peppy is a good person. He then leaves. Valentin is walking around Peppy's house when his dog takes him to a closed door. Inside, he finds all his personal belongings and realizes Peppy had purchased everything at the auction by sending her maid and butler as the buyers. Stunned by the revelation, he quickly changes his clothes and leaves her house. He's walking in the streets and finds some men looking at the formal dress displayed at the window of a shop. He remembers his old days and sees his reflection. A policeman comes in, judging him by his burnt clothes, says something so horrible that Valentin runs away from there speechless. Peppy comes back home with a bouquet to congratulate him on his new beginning. But she can't find him anywhere in the house. Valentin reaches his burnt apartment. Peppy's maid tells her what happened. She rushes out of her house and calls Clifton, but when he doesn't show up, she takes the car herself and drives to find Valentin. Devastated by the harsh words, the mocking, and the people laughing at his plight, he brings down his revolver. Peppy drives around the town like a mad woman, making the pedestrians jump out of her way and making the other cars stop to avoid a collision. Valentin's dog barks at him, trying to stop him from what he's about to do. If only he could talk, but alas, his pleadings are heard as loud barking. Valentin is teary, seeing his only best friend trying his best to stop him. But Valentin has made up his mind. Peppy has rammed the car into a tree outside Valentin's house. Without wasting any time, she runs inside. The noise from the collision distracts Valentin, and he goes to check what happened. Peppy runs inside and is scared when she sees the gun in his hand. She breaks down and says she only wanted to help him and take care of him. She apologizes. Valentin cannot see her in tears and waves his hands to say no, but accidentally pulls the trigger, making the bullet hit a glass bottle kept nearby. Valentin's dog hears the bang and pretends to pass out, which cracks them up. Valentin throws the gun and embraces Peppy. Peppy asks him to let her help him, but Valentin isn't sure that anybody would want to see him speak. At that moment, Peppy comes up with an idea. She is reminded of how Valentin matched her steps the first time they were together on a set. She proposes a musical to Al Zimmer and even showcases their chemistry and talent by dancing in front of Al Zimmer. He is very impressed, and soon, they start the recording. They put up a very entertaining performance, and at the end, their panting is heard. Al Zimmer signals for the camera to cut. He is happy with the performance but wants one more take. Valentin replies, with pleasure, revealing a French accent. Soon, the spot boys and makeup men come to fix their dresses and the props. The set buzzes with instructions and talking from the crew members. They set up for one more shot, and the studio gets quiet as the director yells action.